In the story Flashpoint, we are introduced to a whole new universe with familiar characters, but with a twist. All stemming from one choice: Barry Allen saves his mother. This single action creates a new timeline that alters everything we know about the DC universe, including iconic characters like Batman, who is actually Thomas Wayne, not Bruce. In this universe, Joe Chill kills Bruce Wayne in Crime Alley and is subsequently killed by Thomas in retaliation. This leads us to today's topic: Martha Wayne, the matriarch of the Wayne family, who in this alternate universe becomes the Joker after going insane from the loss of her son. In this video, we'll explore the entire story involving Thomas and Martha Wayne, highlighting one of the most interesting alternate universe narratives, especially for a character who didn't have much history in comics despite debuting in the early to mid-1900s. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Tragedy in Crime Alley. In the Flashpoint timeline, Joe Chill kills Bruce Wayne rather than his parents. Martha Wayne is so traumatized by the loss of her son that she does not respond to therapy, even after several months. Thomas Wayne, devastated by Bruce's death, eventually tracks down Joe Chill and kills him. Before setting out to do so, Thomas had talked to Martha, telling her it was time to move on and that he missed her smile. Martha appeared despondent to Thomas's plea but seemed affected by his mention of her smile. When Thomas returns home to inform her that he has avenged their son, Martha shocks him. She has cut open her cheeks to create a permanent, grotesque smile, saying, "Now I'm finally smiling." Horrified by her mental state, Thomas has her committed to Arkham Asylum, realizing that the loss of Bruce has pushed her into a psychotic breakdown. Chapter 2. The Birth of the Joker. Despite her confinement, Martha soon escapes and begins a life of crime, adopting the persona of the Joker. She finds a partner in crime in her twisted version of Harley Quinn, a woman named Yo-Yo. Her descent into villainy puts her on a collision course with her husband, who has also become Gotham's vigilante protector, Batman. Martha, now the Joker, becomes Thomas's archenemy, tormenting him at every turn. Her actions result in further heartbreak for Thomas as his ally, Catwoman, whom he had come to care for like a daughter, is shot and paralyzed from the waist, similar to Barbara Gordon in The Killing Joke. Chapter 3. The Kidnapping and the Revelation. Determined to break Batman's spirit, Martha kidnaps the twin children of Judge Dent, hiding them within Wayne Manor. When Chief Gordon arrives on the scene, he encounters what he believes to be the Joker, holding a gun to one of the children's heads. Acting quickly, Gordon shoots, only to discover that the Joker was a horrific setup. Dent's daughter, dressed like the Joker, with guns tied to her hands. Horrified, Gordon realizes his mistake too late, as Martha ambushes him, slashing his throat. When Batman arrives, he finds Gordon dead and the young girl dying. She clings to life briefly but dies in Batman's arms, leaving him grief-stricken. Martha takes advantage of Batman's despair, attacking him with a hammer. A violent struggle ensues, and in a desperate move, Thomas throws himself and Martha out of a window, crashing onto the ground outside. Amid their fierce fight, Thomas begins to reach through to his estranged wife by recalling their past life together. He shares his discovery of a way to rewrite history so that in this reality, it would be him and Martha who die that fateful night in Crime Alley, allowing Bruce to survive and live a different life. For a brief moment, Martha seems to regain her sanity. She listens as Thomas pleads with her to understand, asking her if he should change history to save Bruce. Martha, in a rare moment of lucidity, asks Thomas to promise he will. However, when she questions what their son will become, Thomas admits that Bruce grows up to become Batman. The realization horrifies her, as she understands that her son will endure the same pain and darkness as his father. Overcome with despair, Martha's sanity shatters once more and she attempts to flee. As Martha tries to escape, Thomas chases her, desperate to reach her. But in her frantic flight, she slips, falling into a hidden underground cave beneath the manor. Thomas watches in agony as she disappears into the shadows below, seemingly falling to her death. In her final moments, Martha's life as both the loving mother she once was and the madwoman she became comes to a tragic end, leaving Thomas to bear the weight of their family's tragic legacy alone. Or so we thought. Chapter 4. Flashpoint Beyond. To understand Martha's story, we must address why the Flashpoint world still exists, despite Barry's efforts to erase it. The universe persists due to magical artifacts stolen by Bruce from the Time Masters. Thomas Wayne, awakening from the events of City of Bane and having survived Darkseid's Omega beams, finds his world still standing, though changed. Penguin now works for him, and Judge Harvey Dent, the father of Dexter, the boy who survived being kidnapped by Martha, plans to charge him with the death of Joe Chill, Bruce's killer. Frustrated by his fractured universe and unaware that Bruce is alive in his own timeline, Thomas decides to seek out Barry Allen, who in this reality is simply a crime scene investigator. Barry, investigating the murder of Abracadabra, victim of the Clockwork Killer, returns home only to find Thomas waiting in the shadows. Thomas introduces himself, recounting Flashpoint's alternate history and Barry's past attempt to fix the world. Upset, Barry demands Thomas leave, but Thomas injects him with a sedative, knocking him unconscious. Barry awakens strapped to a chair on the roof of Wayne Casino. Thomas, attempting to recreate the accident that gave Barry his powers, surrounds him with chemicals. As lightning strikes, however, a harpoon shatters the vials, killing Barry instantly and severely burning his body. At the same time, Judge Dent heads to the casino but is killed by another harpoon, his car catching fire in the ensuing chaos. Thomas barely manages to save Dent's son Dexter from the explosion. Dexter reveals that the killer is fleeing across the rooftops. Thomas pursues and confronts the assassin, whom he suspects to be an Atlantean sent to kill Barry and thwart his plans to alter reality. Angered by the implications, Thomas kills the assassin and returns to Wayne Manor with Dexter in tow. Reflecting on recent events, Thomas ponders what to do with Dexter, eventually leaving him in Penguin's care with instructions to look after him. Before leaving, we catch a glimpse of Wayne Manor's infamous clock. Unlike the clock in other universes, set to the moment of the Waynes' death, this one is simply broken. A small but significant detail. Penguin, now tasked with keeping Dexter busy, begins teaching the boy to shoot. Meanwhile, Thomas prepares to confront Aquaman, hoping to gain insight into the threats facing his world. On his way, he encounters Wonder Woman, bound by Atlantean guards using the lasso of truth. Without hesitation, Thomas kills the guards, leaving him face to face with Wonder Woman. Chapter 5: Clockwork Killer. Thomas tells Diana he needs the lasso of truth, adding that if he frees her, he doesn't care what she does. This theme of apathy continues throughout, as Thomas's goal is not to save the world, but to destroy it to ensure his son's safety. Sneaking up on Aquaman, Thomas uses the lasso and asks why he sent an assassin. Arthur, under the effects of the lasso, reveals he has no idea what Thomas is talking about, but realizes that if Thomas has the lasso, Wonder Woman must be free. As Arthur prepares to execute his final plan, Wonder Woman sneaks up behind him, stabbing him with his own trident. Thomas and Diana part ways, and Thomas returns to Gotham. At Wayne Manor, he sees Dexter practicing shooting under Penguin's watch. He heads to his cave, where a bulletin board details the Clockwork Killer's victims: Barry Allen, Nathaniel Adams, Matthew Ryder, and others who, in other universes, could have helped Thomas but are now merely casualties of a twisted killer. Frustrated, Thomas reflects that Bruce wouldn't have fallen for the distractions he's been chasing. Thomas heads to the rubble of Wayne Casino, where police inform him that they have a prisoner in Arkham named Roger Hayden, who fled here to escape a dark crisis and claims Bruce Wayne was supposed to be Batman. Hayden, known as Psycho Pirate, had the unique ability to perceive the timeline's true nature despite resets, a burden that likely damaged his mind. Sensing a lead, Thomas rushes to Arkham. Arriving at Hayden's cell, Thomas finds him dead, the walls covered in mad scribbles. Suspecting foul play, Thomas is interrupted by Gilda Dent, who has developed an unhealthy obsession with Martha since her daughter's death. Gilda lashes out, calling Thomas a terrible father and husband, provoking him. In response, she slams her face into the cell door, injures herself, and screams at him as he leaves. Later, Gilda, her face now bandaged, begins hearing voices, promising her that Dexter will be with her soon. Meanwhile, in Central City, police investigate a crime scene at Iris West's house, where they find the body of Eobard Thawne, dressed as the Reverse Flash, marking another victim in the Clockwork Killer's twisted spree. Chapter 6, The Finale. Thomas sneaks into the morgue to perform an autopsy on Eobard Thawne, hoping to uncover how this powerful villain ended up dead in a Central City apartment. He finds fragments of clock gears inside Thawne, reigniting his hunt for the clockwork killer, who may hold the answers to this world's strange existence. Meanwhile, Dexter eludes Penguin, makes his way down to the Batcave, and puts together a makeshift Robin costume. Thomas returns to Wayne Manor with the clock pieces and begins reassembling them. Penguin informs him that Dexter has left, likely to Arkham Asylum to find his mother. As Thomas completes the clock, he realizes there's one piece left, revealing the killer's identity. Meanwhile, Dexter infiltrates Arkham and picks the lock to his mother Gilda's cell. As he embraces her, he senses something is wrong as Gilda's darker personality is surfacing. At Arkham, Martha Wayne enters Gilda's cell, taunting her about their world's impending erasure and planning to kill Dexter. Thomas arrives, causing Gilda to flee with Dexter as her darker side takes over. Thomas arrives and locks himself and Martha in a cell to question her. Martha reveals that she overheard Psycho Pirate's rants about Bruce and the Joker. She describes tracking down Joker's counterpart, Jack Oswald White, a failed comedian she spared from the bombing of Wayne Casino. Distracted, Thomas is stabbed by Martha and falls into a lower level, where she reveals a time travel device. Martha explains that after falling into the Flashpoint cave, she heard Psycho Pirate's warnings that this timeline shouldn't exist. She hunted anyone with reality manipulation knowledge, leaving a trail for Thomas to follow. She plans to go back in time so that she and Thomas die in the alley, allowing Bruce to live. Thomas resists, accusing her of killing countless people, including Barry Allen. Martha dismisses them, echoing sentiments that have haunted Thomas. Gilda arrives, holding Dexter at gunpoint and demanding they complete the plan. She confesses she never wanted to be Two-Face. That was Harvey's fate. Dexter asks if he's going to die, and Thomas, torn, decides to save him instead of reuniting with Bruce. Martha detonates a bomb, damaging the time device, and Gilda fires into the smoke before turning her gun on Dexter. Martha shoots Gilda, killing her, as the explosion triggers a collapse. The three barely escape Arkham as it crumbles. Days later, Gotham PD shines a bat symbol in the sky. Thomas and Dexter, now Batman and Robin, suit up for a looming Kryptonian invasion. In a small cell, Martha, believed dead by the world, reads a book and offers her connections if needed. Thomas and Martha find solace in knowing that, in another universe, Bruce is alive while they defend their world from new threats.